so delighted to be featuring someone we absolutely adore here at Coco Eco. I'm Sara Ost, the editor-at-large for Coco Eco, chatting today with Zach Skow, from the founder of Marleys Mutts. And as all of you probably know, our longtime readers, we believe that conscious living includes our animal friends. So I'm really excited to just sit and chat with Zach for a little bit. He has a wonderful story, and I think you're going to learn from it and enjoy it. And let's first also introduce our furry friend here, Zach.
This is Cora Rose. She's my little beacon of light, the world's happiest dog. And she's also a double she's also a double amputee and has her likeness on the wall.
I love that. Now, did you paint that?
No. One of her followers did. Somebody that has followed her story. You know, we rescued her 3 years ago following our first double front leg amputation. That was Noelle. Not something that's done very often in rescue or veterinarially. So we got in, it was a pretty volatile experience, only because we were trying to save this dog's life by any means necessary, and amputating both legs was frowned upon heavily in the veterinary community. And I think just at large, because people have a hard time with something that's fundamentally so different. And I think optically, it was just difficult to look at a poor, beautiful, loving little animal with no front legs. I think the assumption was, oh my God, you have no quality of life. Life has got to be so terribly difficult for you. The nicer thing may have been putting you to sleep. And what we were able to do is really resoundingly chant that down, that is just a broken logic train, and that just because a dog doesn't have front legs doesn't mean can't be happy. In fact, this dog has discovered her power, discovered her happiness in recovery. You know, she had broken back, broken front legs, shattered pelvis. You know, she didn't move for 3 months really, and then she learned how we helped her learn how to walk, helped her learn how to use her chair. And then she's really gone on to change what we view as quality of life. You know, she has a tremendous quality of life, and even a better quality of life, I think, because she leaves this positive streak. She has a purpose. She leaves a positive streak through the world that you would have to be sensory deprived in every way not to feel. Like, if you can't see her love, you can feel it. If you can't hear her love, you can see it. If you know, there are so many ways in which this little beacon of light gives off light, you know, and I've seen her in a prison setting, you know, change the entire mood of a maximum security prison. I've seen her do the same inside of children's prison. And I've seen her work her magic in so many places where she enters a room and the frequency is low, it's sad, it's depressed, it's whatever. When they see her, they go, oh no, they have this visceral reaction, followed by, you know, because there's such a juxtaposition. Your brain doesn't understand how something this afflicted could be so happy. So there's this really weird emotional roller coaster that people go through when they observe Cora, because your eyes kind of don't see, and then your eyes don't understand what they're seeing, but then you're struck with this revelation that, oh my gosh, this thing is so happy. Give me some of that. Give me some of that joy. Give me some of that glow. What are her keys to life? And her keys to life are just accepting herself as she is and not being afraid ever to step into her power. And what I mean by that is, you know, anytime we have a dog, I have a new dog, a foster dog over here in the corner that you guys can see.
Oh, hi, buddy.
What's up, dude?
What a good old
Come on over, Henry.
This is Henry, okay.
Oh boy, what's up, my dude, my boy? And you see what Cora does with him?
Oh my gosh.
So Cora does this with every one of our foster dogs who come in shut down, who come in reactive, who come in depressed, whatever. She has this magnetic personality where she just wants to show you how to live. She wants to show you how to do it. Come with me, let me show you how to be happy. And she has that effect on lots and lots of people. So since Cora and her predecessor, Noelle, our other double front leg amputee, we've had 5 double leg amputees. Wow. So and they've all gone on to be adopted and live tremendous lives. So it's changed the way we view savable dogs. Because if you can remove both their front legs and they're still happy and mobile and all the rest of it, then, you know, maybe we can save more. And so I just consider myself so lucky to be her dad and to get to have her as this kind of live-in therapist and live-in beacon of hope and truth and happiness and all those things. She is the truth. She is happiness personified, and she shows you how to get there.
Oh, well, you're making my heart melt. We're going to talk about dogs and the wonderful relationship that they have with humans a little later in our interview. By the way, everyone, you can follow Cora Rose on Instagram. So make sure that you don't just follow Zach, follow Cora.
Yeah, she's at the Cora Rose. And this morning's post was hilarious. So it just said it was her by our Christmas tree. And it said, "All I want for Christmas is my 2 front feet." And then she said, "I'm just kidding. I don't want my front feet. You know, I discovered my power when I lost my front legs." So,
well, let's talk about you discovering your power. It's a nice transition. So thank you.
That's a perfect segue.
Yeah, aren't we good? We're so official. You've now been running Marley's Mutts for over a decade, and it's grown a lot. You've saved, you know, of course, thousands of dogs. Something, Zach, that I was really struck by, I mean, and I cried, I'll admit, as someone who has discovered the joy of working with dogs, you know, and is also just so heartbroken at how we continue to treat dogs, is I appreciated your honesty. There was a video on Marleys Mutts website where you say, yeah, we've saved thousands of dogs. Here are some of the good things that we're working on and some of our initiatives. But fundamentally, it's a drop in the bucket. It's still such a huge problem. So can you share that, you know, frankness with our readers? And then also, let's give people advice on, you know, if they feel compelled, how they can help, how we can start to have more impact, because it is such a massive problem.
Sure. So when I started in Kern County started in rescue here in 2004, our euthanasia rate was around 80-85%. When Marley's Mutts was started, it was about 75-80%. So we're euthanizing tens of thousands of animals, and those problems that exists for a variety of different reasons, because people are surrendering animals, because animals aren't being spayed or neutered, because socioeconomic issues. There's a number of varieties. And what's really great is that rescue, because of social media, has gained a tremendous following. Animal welfare in general has just populated, it's been disseminated to every reach of the world. I mean, we have animal rescuers in every single city across the world, in Bangladesh, in Sumatra, and I mean, there are people doing animal rescue everywhere. So while I understand that people might still be down on the idea that animals are still dying in shelters and we haven't reached a national no-kill, this movement is moving. I mean, if you graphed it on a chart, it would look 45-degree angle up in terms of rescue, in terms of live outcomes, in terms of rescues being created, in terms of initiatives being passed, laws being passed. So we are fundamentally shifting the paradigm to do what's right for animals. And I mean, after all, we've coexisted with dogs for 50,000 years. They are part of our family. And so on one hand, it's very challenging to see that our family members are not being treated well. But on the other hand, it's very promising to see this fundamental paradigm shift rapidly sweeping through our world. I mean, when I was a kid, we didn't even really talk about spay or neuter. Now spay or neuter is the thing.
Yeah.
You know, and when I started in rescue here, you know, no kill was a pipe dream. You didn't even bring up no kill. In fact, 5 years ago, when our director here, our county director, said that we're going to get to no kill by 2021, people thought he was a lunatic. They said, you shouldn't even bring up that word. Don't even start saying that. We're nowhere near it. And we got there. September of this year was the first time Kern County ever reached no kill. From 80% euthanasia to less than 10 within a decade. That's incredible. You know, that's an incredible work. So a lot of that has to do with regular society. What's happened is regular people, because of rescue, through the medium of rescue, have connected themselves with service work. They've started to foster, they've started to share, they've started to comment. So just the dissemination of the reality has been communicated to so many people. Everybody knows the state of animal, or most people, at least that we hang out with, know the state of animal welfare in America. So if you know if you know the truth of what's out there, you can start to know how to combat it, and where to start, where to follow through, et cetera, and so on. And for me, I think the most important thing and the most uplifting thing has been fostering. You know, real people, real families are engaging in foster because of what it offers their family, because it offers their family purpose. It offers, you're saving a life. You're teaching your children the value of saving a life. There's a rescue ideology that really focuses on every life mattering and every life having limitless potential. And so as we plug into that, we're plugging into those ideals. So that's what's so important about being a part of rescue and a part of mutual rehabilitation, rehabilitating ourselves as we rehabilitate these dogs it's beneficial across the spectrum. It's beneficial for our kids. It's beneficial for our mental health. It's beneficial for our love. It's beneficial for our self-esteem. I've never had more self-esteem in my life than when I was working with my dogs and experiencing their love. I mean, the uplift and this is in the beginning when I was still, I've reached some deep, deep, dark depths that I tried every single way to get out of, every drug, everything. And the only medicine that worked for me was dogs. The only thing that held up a mirror to me like I needed to was dogs. The only thing that spoke to me like an equal, although that sounds weird maybe, were my dogs. The only thing that peered into my soul and gave me the recognition and really the empathy. I never felt like anyone understood me. I always felt intentionally misunderstood sometimes. And maybe that's feeling sorry for myself, but I never felt like people got me. And I always feel like my dogs get me. And I think that's a big part of mental health. If you know that you have somebody in your inner circle, somebody being a dog, that can reinforce those things for you, help you feel valued, help you feel understood when you're having one of those negative perturbations, one of those lulls, it's therapy. I mean, it's exactly what it is. So I'm in love with rescue. I'm in love with what it can provide our families. I'm in love with the purpose it gives us. I'm in love with the idea of how it integrates service work into our culture. I'm fascinated with how far we've gotten in 10 years. Celebrities are jumping on board. People like just what Whitney Cummings has been able to do, and Kristen Bell. One of the pictures behind us here is Kristen at our juvenile program holding Cora, and it's just everybody's on board. Everybody's recognized it as this important category of our culture that needs to be addressed and that we can learn from and that we can really get a lot out of. And I think we are. I think if you just look at the dodo and publications like it, even Marley's Mutts, our social media, those stories remind us what we're capable of. As weird as it sounds, watching a dog get through having both of her legs amputated reminds us what we're capable of, and it reminds us how good we have it. And so it's just all good. And I'm excited for us to talk more about the human-animal bond and the idea that we're just scratching the surface, because it is limitless, but it's also different, and it's also something that needs to be treated well, because overusing dogs or rescue can become a hindrance. It can become a detriment to you. I mean, I've seen people who have their entire social circle consists of their dogs, and they are incapable of stepping outside of the canine realm because of the trauma they feel. So your dogs are meant to help you address society. I mean, when I first stepped out of my house in liver failure, trying to be a person without drugs or alcohol, if I didn't have my dog with me, I couldn't do it. I mean, I remember running into my drug dealer in the cereal aisle at Albertsons, and I almost had a panic attack. I didn't know what to do with myself. And I thought, and this is when I was still in liver failure. And after that point, I brought Marley with me everywhere. I just couldn't face, but that stopped, obviously. I used him as a crutch to get me through that time. And then I built up some self-esteem, and I was able to do it for myself. So we definitely don't want to overuse dogs as a crutch. They are medicine, and they're tools to help us get better and live an examined, fulfilled life. They're not meant to prevent us from connecting. They're meant to encourage us to connect.
Yeah. I mean, we evolved together. We truly did. And so I think there's this beautiful unconditionality between humans and dogs. And like you say, they can help us to live a more conscious life in really profound ways. But yes, there are responsibilities that come with that. And I think you're sharing such a nuanced view, and I thank you for also just being so vulnerable and sharing your own story. Can we talk a little bit about some of the initiatives that Marley's Mutts, that your organization is working on, and also just how is it going in COVID? How do you navigate that?
Yeah, COVID has been tough. Thankfully, we've been able to get through it. We haven't had to terminate anybody, but everything's on hold. My favorite program that we have is Positive Change. That's our comprehensive inmate canine training program. And so we spend a lot of time going to prisons. We're active in 6 prisons and 1 juvenile facility. Those are live-in dog programs. So our dogs live in prison for 3 months, and they train every single day with their student inmate handlers and trainers, their mentor trainers, their lead trainers. And we don't get to do that right now. We have a couple programs open, but it's at the fence line. So we're on prison grounds, but we have to have a fence separating us. So it's definitely hindered that program, as well as it's hindered Miracle Mutts. Miracle Mutts is our therapy program. We have a couple dozen therapy dogs that visit anywhere that dogs will benefit people. So blood and cancer centers, Valley Achievement, autistic schools, anywhere. I could go through a list of 90 places that we serve, that our Miracle Mutts serve. And Miracle Mutts are dogs that we've put through our own Canine Good Citizen certification and then our own Miracle Mutt certification. It involves 50 hours of community service, and then you're vested, and you can travel with the Miracle Mutts crew and be of service at honor flight pancake breakfasts, or Children's Hospital, or Ronald McDonald House, or the Mission at Kern County, or all these places that we go. It's an incredible program, and it's been essentially stopped. We can't do anything. California is we're on a stay-at-home order. And so it's unfortunate, because I think this is one of the times where we need that kind of therapy more than ever. And I feel this is not a time to go off on a political tangent whatsoever, but I look forward to both of those programs starting up again, because Positive Change has the ability to be scaled to any city, any county, any state, any country. We could bring this program to every single city in the United States. And what that does is not only rescue dogs and dogs that need behavior modification, but it also gives formerly incarcerated a chance at the American dream, and at becoming dog trainers and becoming pet industry professionals. And so many of our guys have gotten out of prison, graduated our program multiple times, gotten out of prison and found careers. The pet industry is a $70 billion industry, and we seek to connect formerly incarcerated with that industry so that they can have access to hope and succeed, and be able to live this. They deserve access to opportunity. They deserve to not be viewed as criminals for the rest of their life. They deserve to be, to have their God-given potential accessed. And we do everything in our power to suppress that. And Positive Change is something that addresses it, gives that same hope, that same love, gives these guys so much. It's just we could do a whole program on it, and there's so many variables, there's so many facets of it that are magical, and the vocational aspect of it is truly magical. But watching these guys gain the confidence and recognize that they're really good at something, and that they're intuitive when they follow their own intuition as they train, because that's trusting yourself. When you're locked up, I imagine it's very difficult to anchor yourself in self-esteem, or to feel proud of much, or to feel purposeful. And they get to do all those things. And what better way to ready yourself for getting out of prison than to feel some purpose, to feel some pride, to work on a skill, to receive some love, to give some love. It's also the only program that really, that trains on prison. We're in the yard and we're in the pod. We're actually, most classes take place in a classroom. We're in the unit surrounded by inmates at all times. So it's a very integrated process. They're all, even if you're not in the class, you're somehow integrated with us. So the racial integration that happens in the program doesn't happen in prison, in many cases, except for our program. And that leads to a lot of really positive things. It encourages staff, it's got so many benefits. It's ridiculous. And again, we could bring it everywhere. We could bring it to any municipality.
Dogs really are the ultimate healers. Well, I'm so grateful you were able to take this time, Zach.
Of
And
course.
let's circle back a little bit to, I had said we've evolved together, and you said, 50,000 years. What do you, being working so intimately with dogs, what are some of the lessons you think that we can learn from dogs? What are some of the things that you see that
Forgiveness. 100% forgiveness. We don't like to forgive. We have this tendency to hate people, to hold resentment, and resentment is disease that you bring on yourself, and dogs just don't have that. But the thing, I have that. I have that in me. I have that darkness, that desire to sometimes be resentful, that desire to hold grudges, that desire to be angry or frustrated with someone or reactive with someone. And what my dogs always teach me is that, love is the way. That is the easier, softer, more effective way always. And yeah, they teach me that constantly. So, and the other is, well, there's several others, but the other is resilience, is that I can do anything. I can get through anything. I have this, even though I've been through liver disease, I have this idea that I can't. I'm sure a lot of us have. It's important for people to understand that I'm just like you. I may have founded an organization, but I have a big part of my brain that tells me I can't, that I shouldn't, and that I'm not worth it. It's a very loud voice. And working with dogs has really helped suppress that, has helped me understand that, who I truly am. It's helped me filter through the truth and the bullshit. And my brain wants to focus on the lies, the black magic and the bullshit, and tell me all these things that aren't true. And the dogs are almost always bathed in like light and righteousness. And if you just slow down, I think what a lot of us do, myself included, and I've been around dogs, they're responsible for my existence, is we don't slow down enough to listen to them. Sometimes we assume because they're dogs, they're not people, they're teaching a less valuable lesson or whatever. And if we just slow down and let yourself intuitively connect with a dog, they're beautiful moments. They're really, really beautiful moments. I went hiking. I went on a little 48-hour retreat by myself in the mountains 2 days ago, and I hadn't seen a dog for a couple of days. And I'm walking through I hadn't seen a person in probably 3 hours, and this dog comes running up to me, and we had the greatest little moment. He was real skeptical of me at first, and I'm looking around in the woods going, whose dog is this? So he kind of looks at me first, and then I look at him, and then he starts to do this, and then he does a play bow, and then he comes running up to me, and I'm loving on this dog, and we're crawling around on the ground, and I think I've just found a dog in the wilderness, and then the family comes walking up. They got their walking sticks, and they're like 100 yards behind him. But it was just perfect, and dogs have the ability to just snap us into the moment. Because I remember what I was thinking at that time. I was on some pity party tangent, silent, walking through the mountains, thinking about something I shouldn't have been thinking about. I was thinking about not being in the mountains. I was thinking about some bullshit that was preventing me from being present. And then this dog comes out of nowhere and just like snaps you into the present. And
Yeah.
Then I remember when the dog left too, I was kind of like, I had like a withdrawal. So like, oh shit, okay, I guess we're going back to our hike now.
Yeah. I'm really, thank you so much. I feel edified. As I was saying, kind of earlier in our discussion, there's such great heartbreak around the amount of euthanization that happens in this country. But I'm so glad to learn that that things are changing dramatically for the better. That people think fostering is cool now, and that especially this year, I would imagine all of us are following a lot of Instagram dog accounts. I know I am. I think the Dodo is certainly being one of them, and Marley's Mutts. Let's close, Zach, with just a few helpful tips, if you will, for our readers who, I think anyone who's striving to live a conscious life, it's not just about, recycling or maybe eating less meat or donating to climate causes. It's really about, being aware of the interconnectedness of all living creatures. And so I would imagine our readers would love to know some of your recommendations for how they could support dog rescue. And what do you think are some of the best things that people can do?
Well, the easiest things you can do are share and comment. Social media determines so much of our outcomes. Social media is how we disseminate information, data. It's how people learn about what we're doing. So follow some of these pages. You'll be happy you did. It's not all depressing. In fact, most of it's uplifting.
Uplifting.
A lot of it is uplifting. So comment, share, donate, foster, all those typical ways are very helpful. Start to get involved in progressive programs like Positive Change. But I would say above that, because we're talking about conscious living, we're not just talking about animal rescue. I'm a depressive person. I'm a person who's struggled with depression and anxiety my whole life. And for me, loneliness, lack of connectivity, I'm just a feeler. I'm a person who has a really hard time with everything that's going on. And from a consciousness level, just leaving a positive streak wherever you go. That's been the most effective thing for me by far. The thing that I can do on a daily basis to be conscious and be connected is to just be nice and be positive. So, again, I'm an introverted extrovert. I'm not a person, I'm naturally introverted, but I can be extroverted for a lot of reasons. But what brings me out of my victim mentality, what brings me out of a sympathetic mindset and like a sympathetic narcissism where all I'm thinking about is like what's not good enough about me or what's not good about my life. It's just being positive. It's just connecting with someone, saying hi. I had on this little retreat I went on, the second day I went hiking, I probably ran into 20 or 30 people, and every one of those interactions, with the exception of one, was so glorious. And it all just started by saying hi. It just started by engaging with somebody. And just engage. You never know. Engage on social media. Engage in life. You never know who you're going to be able to help, who you're going to be able to save, what you're going to be able to do for that person, because positivity is exponential. You initiate a piece of positivity in this world, and that is accepted by that person. That person takes that positivity and disseminates it to all those people in their life, and it's exponential. So one of the biggest things we can do right now, especially with these times, is just be positive with one another. Just be loving, and do something as simple as say hi to somebody. You wave at somebody in traffic you wouldn't have otherwise waved at.
Yeah.
Go on to a random, one of the things I did as part of a deal for sponsees was go on to 10 random people's Instagram pages and tell them that you love them.
Oh, I love
that. The request was ridiculous. All the people I asked to do this were like, "You're kidding me. You want me to do what?" Well, I don't love them. And I'm like, well, but hear me out. So I gave my spiel, and the feedback almost across the board was that was amazing how that felt to tell 10 strangers that I love them, and we don't do it enough. We don't do it enough.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm feeling emotional. That's great. I'm going to go tell 10.
It was very hard not to cry on that one too.
Don't make me cry. Well, everyone, make sure that you follow Marleys Mutts on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere else. Zach, thank you for being so open and sharing so much about yourself. And thank you for what you've done. That's an incredible, wonderful success story. The not just the number of dogs that have been saved, but just the overall change in Kern County, which is just near Los Angeles County.
Yeah, just north of LA.
Yeah. And
can I say one more thing that I think is like the best direction?
Yeah.
So what I've found is life is hard if we don't have purpose. Life is hard if we're not motivated by something altruistic, and it can be hard to plug into something altruistic. But what there is a lot of are people and pets that don't have access to hope or opportunity. And if you don't have hope or opportunity, you are dead. You're dead spiritually, you're dead physically, and it's a very challenging place for light to get into if you don't have hope or access to opportunity. So be a part of something that helps offer hope and access to opportunity to people and pets. And if we just do that, I think you will experience infinite karma points and a level of fulfillment that you can only get when you're involved in serving something other than yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Go foster, everyone.
Yeah.
Zach, thank you so much. And
You are very welcome.
we'll continue to follow and share your adventures and your contributions. And everyone, Zach Skow, the man we love here at Coco Eco. Take care.
Thank you. I had a ball.